Hey guys, LEGO Landlord here. Today we are taking a look at LEGO Speed Champions Lockdown. Lockdown here is actually a bit inaccurate to the movie. Right here he turns into a Lamborghini Huracan Evo, whereas in the movie he turns into an Aventador, but I think it works well enough. He's a Lamborghini, and that's how I see him. Coming to details, he does have the headlights. He still does retain the little Ferrari or Lamborghini logo. Sorry about that. The wheels are a bit different. They are just 2x2 tile rounds, and these are just connected by one stud, so you can expect them to fall off at any time during this interview, and they are easy to slip out of alignment, so I prefer to keep them around aligned with this plate. You can align them with this plate if you want a lower body, but I prefer to keep him kind of wasted off the ground. He does have these gaps here, which you can fill by just putting a 1x2 tile in there, but I'm just going to leave them there. It adds a little extra detail. I retained the motor bit inside from the original polybag, but I put it to use, and you'll see that later. Coming to the back, the entire back is completely inaccurate and different. I removed the spoiler, I made it a bit more clean, and I got rid of all the unnecessary detail. Made it a bit more simplistic so that he could, one, transform, and two, look better. Coming to the bottom, you can kind of see how I shaped it. There's his head right there. But that's about it for details. Let's go right into comparisons. Here you can see him next to a LEGO minifigure, Doug. You can kind of see how he scales. It's very out of proportion, but I think they look charming. This could be a bonus set, if you will. Here he is next to Iron Man. Next to 2007 Legends Bumblebee. Next to Nightwatch. Gonna bring back robot comparisons, and you can just see how wildly out of scale these two are. Nightwatch here is actually just a little bit out of scale in general with my regular Transformers, but since this guy is a bit bigger to fit the proportions of the Speed Champions polybag, they're just wildly out of scale. And here we have him with a mostly size accurate human. So you can kind of see what that looks like. I could have gone a little bit bigger, but I think it looks fine. So you can kind of see how that looks. But other than that, I think this guy is quite nice compared to other comparisons, but let's get right into transformation. Now, transformation is a bit tedious, but it is a bit genius as well, so you'll expect that. First, we are going to come to the back here, and we're just going to rotate these up to kind of cover that. You want to make sure these are still connected. Again, they are only connected by one stud, so just rotate that up. Then you want to go bring this entire section out. It is on stud friction. You want to bring this out as much as possible. Then you want to bring this out. You want to then come around, start breaking the entire thing while you're at it, and just start rotating this up. There's a lot of stud friction involved in his transformation to get him as clean as possible, so if he does break, I'm sorry about that. But you want to rotate this all the way around. Then you want to go bring this back. This is only connected by a stud, and this will just align with that to create the foot. You want to do that on the other side, so just bring this out. You can hold both tiles for a cleaner and faster transformation. Again, make sure that wheel is pegged in. Bring this back, bring it around, flatten that, and then you can bring it out like so. You want to go bring this in, bring it down like so, and these will form the legs. They do look a bit dorky, but they look better in robot mode, so we will see that. You want to bring this up. We're going to swivel these all the way down. Again, make sure these are connected. You want to then go and put your finger right in here, hold the top, and again, rotate this out on the stud friction. Make sure that wheel is in place. You want to slide this out and bring the forearm out. You can then bring this down, bring that in. If you want to get the arms more laid back, you can bring the wheel up, but I feel it's fine looking more splayed out. So just do that on the other side. You want to go, make sure that wheel is in, go, pull this out while applying pressure. You want to bring that down, bring the forearm out, rotate the arm down, and bring that up. I usually like to leave these up a little bit to give him a more dynamic stance in robot mode, but it looks fine either way. Now you want to take this motor cover section and just reach in there, lift it up, push the head through on these droid arms, bring this down. You can just collapse that to form the spine of the robot. Bring this up, adjust everything. You can bring these down a little bit to bring the legs closer together. Make sure everything is in place. Make sure all the wheels are plugged in. These back wheels like to give me a hard time when I'm messing around with lockdown. Position that. And there we have Lockdown in his robot mode. I'd have to say that my favorite part about this model is that how he goes from this bulky, sleek yet simple car into this bulky yet shattered robot mode. Every tile goes all over the place to add a little bit of detail. I'd like to use my imagination and think that these are the little missile racks on his shoulders, and these become the little guns that stick out of under the missile racks. He does have a little bit of color inaccuracy, but that's because I wanted to use these gold elements in the forearms and the thighs or the hips. But I think he looks and fits the part very well. If I built an Optimus in his scale, I bet I could make them pretty size accurate. I like how the chest kind of flattens up like it does in the CGI model, and in car mode it's a bit more curved. Kind of a point of view trickery. The wheels fold up on his back. That's a little bit inaccurate, but you can't really place that anywhere else. The wheels also go on the calves, which I really like, and the rear lights become the knees. But moving along, for articulation, it's a bit weird, but you can get him in some pretty cool poses. You do have a swivel at the head. This spine piece can rotate back so that you can move the head back and forth like that. He does have a little bit of an ab crunch. You can kind of get him crunching, but I prefer to not use that. The shoulders do have this butterfly joint. The wheels can rotate so that you can make them go further back. The arms do go out all the way up. And if you want to have him pointing forward, you can illegally move it. It does force that plate out, but it works, and you can use it if you like. Personally, I am not really an illegal builder, so I like to just have him static most of the time, And unfortunately, no elbow joint unless you want to have him have a broken arm. Then you got that. But moving down to the legs, you do have a splay at the hip. You do have forward all the way up. And a kick all the way back. You can move the legs out. You can also rotate them at the hips. It's a bit of a tighter connection, but not too tight to move it. You also do have the feet joints, which are just on stud friction, so be a little bit careful with that. But that's about it for articulation. Let's get into comparisons. First up, here he is with a minifigure. So you can see how he scales next to that. Forgot to mention this in car mode, but here he is next to the Ultron human-sized bot for my regular universe. It's kind of out of proportion, but that's not too bad. Here he is next to B, and you can see what I was talking about. He's quite a bit larger than B, which is accurate, because I think B retains his size for most of the movies, but other than that, I think it looks fine with Bumblebee. Here he is next to Nightwatch, and you can see just how wildly out of proportion they are. I like to think Lockdown expands quite a bit in robot mode, and I'm glad I designed him to do that considering he does mass shift a lot in the movies. But I don't think they look too bad together. And finally, here we have him next to a scaled human. Again, I think it fits rather well. He could be a little bit larger, but I think the human is quite nice. But that is about it. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comment section below, or feel free to DM me over on Instagram. My handle is the same as my Instagram handle, so feel free to @LegoLandlord, and I will respond to any and all questions. Anyways, that's about it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.